Today I'd like to talk about the importance of having high standards and high expectations, both for yourself and for your children. Um, when Christ came, he said things like, "Be holy as your Father in heaven is holy. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect." He said things like, "Go forth and sin no more." He said things like, "If you even lust after another woman, you are committing adultery in your heart. If you even say raka, you are committing murder in your heart against your brother." So, these are not lowering of the expectations of the law of Moses. These are, if anything, they're extending it. So he's saying the expectations, they're actually higher than you thought they were. And I think in our day-to-day life, it's important to recognize that having high standards and high expectations for our moral ability and for the running of our households and the operations of our workplaces is very important. High standards in the church is important. High standards in work life, high standards in home life, high standards in your relationships. It's very important to have these high expectations and then to accept excellence, because nobody is perfect. Nobody is holy but God. No one is good but God alone. So the expectation should be unattainable, and you should strive to attain it anyway. And then when you fall short, you'll still be closer to the perfect, the holy, the high expectation than if you had never tried. If you thought that the expectation was lower, "Oh, I'm good enough. That's fine. I don't have to clean my room. It's okay. All right." And now the bugs start creeping in. As opposed to if you at least try, you at least have less bugs. Isn't that an improvement? If you try to have a perfectly clean room, or if you try to have a perfectly run household, you'll get a lot closer than if not. But there's also a part of that moral perfection is having that mercy and that grace, and to not be too hard on people when they do fail. And I think of when Christ was talking to the adulterous woman who was about to be stoned by all of the people, saying, "Oh, she's an adulterous woman. The law of Moses says we should stone her. What do you say?" And Christ said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." Right? So if it were possible to be without sin, then you would have every right to completely enforce the expectations and the rules that are good and right. But because you have failed in some way, it's not prudent and it's not wise or morally good to inflict punishment on those who are not meeting the expectation that you set. Because the expectation, if you're doing it right, the expectation should be well above what they are capable of doing. But in the striving and in the attempting to meet the expectation, they will grow into a better person. That's the hope, at least. So that's my little spiel about the importance of high expectations and how, even though you can't be perfect, you should try anyway.